So browser-based runs many web browsers in the cloud. We have a framework called Stagehand. It's an open source framework that makes it really easy for AI to control a web browser. And our customers, which are hundreds of AI companies, use browser-based to power their web browsing features inside of their AI products. So maybe one of our customers, Parcha, does KYC, and that means they have to know what their customer is. They have to go to the website of the customer and validate the information is there. And they use browser-based to load that website. So there's a lot of instances like that where like someone is building an application and they need AI to use the web to kind of retrieve or interact with the web. And browser-based kind of powers that. And that's the story we told to investors in January. And it's pretty much stayed consistent. We knew that this is going to be an important primitive for AI applications. And we knew what we needed to go build because I had built browser infrastructure at my last company. So it's always been clear. I think that's maybe the secret. Having a lot of clarity in what we want to build from day one has really been our superpower. Because we don't have to get aligned. We don't have to kind of like wander in the forest. Like we've just been a missile from the first day we started to go build a great company. And so far it's been going pretty well.
It's interesting because it almost feels like the opposite of what the normal startup advice you hear is, which is people say ideas don't actually matter, execution is what matter, and that's because no matter what you're building, your first iteration is going to look nothing like what you eventually end up at after you talk to customers and make your first revenue, etc. So do you what was it that made it, and I guess as you called it, like a missile from day one to where it is now?
It started with 3,000 words. I wrote a memo about a year ago today, in November. And I wrote a memo about this opportunity. And I was trying to talk myself out of starting a company. I had just sold my last company. I'd been at the acquirer for 2 years. I was in the best shape of my life. That's gone away, So life was pretty good. Why would I throw away this good, relaxing, chill life to go build a company? So I tried to talk myself out of it. I listed out all the reasons why this would and wouldn't work. I went into excruciating detail, literally 3,000 words. And then I published it and shared it with all my smartest friends. And there weren't really a lot of holes, Like I had pretty clear conviction around the market, how to get distribution, how to build the right product, what people needed, what they were willing to pay, and really laid out everything in this foundational memo for browser-based, which maybe we could link in the show notes or something later on. And with that was the roadmap to go build this company. And we've basically been executing to that. Some stuff has changed a little bit in the details, but at a high level, I knew the business that I wanted to build. I knew why it was an exciting company before I even started it. And now I'm just executing off of all of that work.
That makes sense. And when you were pitching investors the first time, what did you show them beyond this memo?
So for the very first round, I was lucky that I had built relationship with investors beforehand. Like people had known me and they'd seen what I've done with my last company, or they've met me outside of it. And that's probably like my biggest advice for founders is like, you don't want to go into a fundraising conversation and it's a shotgun winning. Like you want these investors to hopefully have a chance to interact with you. I've been blogging for the past couple of years, and I made sure to send my articles to people who resonated with them and get their feedback on them and kind of show them my clarity of thought. So the first round was like pretty much a very, very light deck that took the memo I wrote and put it into a slide form. And then the seed was based on the momentum of the pre-seed. The pre-seed happened in like less than a week. Really kind of was like wrapped up on the first day, to be honest. Like the people who wanted to invest in me before I even started the company, right? Which I'm really lucky about. And that's not every founder's case, right? So if you're a founder who's raising for the first time, what you could do to get in that situation is build excitement around you before you go out to raise. So you should be getting, coffees with an investor. You should like share your idea and say, hey, we'll let you know when we're excited to go do this. Build that anticipation so that the fundraising process is quick and clean, and then you can get back to building. And after that pre-seed fundraise, it's funny, my wife is in medicine, and she had a medical conference in the Bahamas. And there's a photo of me like in this lounge chair, just like building browser-based. Like I have a towel over my head, and I'm just building browser-based because I was so amped up to go build the first version of our product. And we shipped that, got some early customers, and really kind of like throughout all of this validated the the core, tenets of Browserbase, like what the customer problem was, and through that had a lot of evidence that a seed round was justifiable. Like we knew that this problem existed. We knew people were willing to pay for it. We knew we could build a product that was great here. And that's really what kind of gave us momentum to go do the seed round. And of course, I went back to an investor who had a long-term relationship, Bucky Moore, who's now on our board, and presented him the evidence like, hey, you've known me for over a year. We've been talking about this stuff for at least 6 months. I think I have all this evidence here that I want to double down. What are you thinking? And didn't even have to run a process. We were just able to make it happen right there.